if you met someone in an elevator, what would you say? Like, hey, hi, I'm Nate. And the person's like, oh, hi, I'm Zack. And then they go, oh, well, what do you do? And you go, I own SWIMNERD. And then they say, oh, what is SWIMNERD? Your response would be?
Yeah, I mean, my response is I make clocks for the aquatics industry. That's like my general. If I was sitting next to someone on an airplane and they said, "What do you do?" That's how I'd explain it, probably, because it's just the simplest. And that's what we do at the core. I mean, that is we're going in other directions, but we make pace clocks.
And is it the other directions because there's the other aspects are more of a marketing media angle to then acquire those people to do the things? Is that what you mean by that?
No, I just mean like we have other products now, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have a software that helps live stream swim meet results. And that's why I was talking about OBS Studio. Like, you use our software to create a virtual scoreboard on a computer, and then you use OBS Studio that's streaming to YouTube, and you can take the virtual scoreboard and overlay it over top of it through OBS. So it's
Where did you go? How did you go about getting the development work done for that?
So there was already a guy that had built a product that I found on the internet because I'm a freaking nerd about swimming, and I've looked at everything, and there's obvious problems in the sport of swimming, and you can try to fix some and you can try not to fix some, and which ones are the most important to fix, or which ones are the most financially going to be the successful ones to fix. And so I contacted this guy, Dale, and I said, yo, your product is dope. And I would love to work with you on it because I have this other idea that your product doesn't do, but it could do if you wanted to do it. And so I pitched him this idea, and we basically built a partnership. And then my development team worked with him to basically integrate into his existing software. And then, he's an engineer. I'm not a software guy. I am a sales guy. So that it was another partnership that turned out to be perfect, where he's an engineer and he needed marketing help, and I needed somebody to make this thing that he had already made. And then I layered more ideas on top. So we basically built an API that takes all the data that's being collected and shoots it to the internet into a web-based interactive digital heat sheet.
And that's the key. I mean, and that's exactly what I was hoping that you would say, in the sense of, you do not need to be technical in order to run a technical type of business. I mean, to have the ingenuity to figure out how to solve the problem that you're looking for. I mean, that's exactly what you did.
I love hearing from other people that aren't technical, that are successful. Like, I just was reading this thread on Twitter, and seven tweets down, I just assumed he was an engineer the way he was talking, but he said he's not an engineer, and I was like, all right, it's another win for us. But yeah. I think about it almost every day. Like, if my twin brother or my older brother, if I had their skill set, I would be maybe further down the road. I would maybe have already accomplished a lot of other stuff. So I still think you're probably better off. I mean, if you could somehow be a developer and a salesperson, you're going to have something special.
It's interesting that you say. It's interesting that you say that, because we're talking about software, and not all these things that I'm about to bring up are software. But Tim and I have both been to, I believe it's just a NASA or a Jefferson Lab patent party, let's call it, where they give out the patents, and there's all these technical things that are super cool, or could be super cool, but literally. And there was one guy that I think the year that I gave the keynote, Tim, guy had 6 patents. And then we're like, what are you going to do with it now? He's like, I don't know.
And he was mad because the 7th one didn't come through in time.
Yeah. But they literally just sit on a shelf.
He hadn't sold any of it yet.
No, and they're not going to sell anything. That's the problem, is they literally sit on a shelf, because I would sit there and I'm like, yo, you guys should do this. And they're like, oh, that's not what we do. So yes, it's great from a technical perspective, but at the same time, it's like, don't undervalue the fact that you've been able to, sell this to people to get out there. When you're looking at a tool that's not really out there, kind of like your swim software, that people see in other sports, but they haven't historically seen it in their world when they're there. If people are watching a swim meet, they're watching live and they're looking at the scoreboard, which is like a tectonic thing that's saying this is the time that you go, and historically that's it.
Right.
How do you then kind of envision that that's something that people would want to watch in the same way online that they would a sport, even though they're not there?
Yeah. Okay. So it has been a difficult sell in terms of, like a pace clock. It's like you could just see a picture or a video of a pace clock and it's a pace clock because you're at a swimming pool or whatever. And it's like, okay, I get it. This guy's selling pace clocks. This is a better pace clock. This one's like, it does so many different things, and the model was flipped upside down that it is, and especially in this day and age, like, how are you going to sell this product that does all these weird things in 15 seconds or 10 seconds or even 30 seconds? So, you got to talk to the people. And for us, the best seller has been once a team gets it and all the other teams go to their swim meet, and now there's the scoreboards on of their phones. It's over.
So it's getting the one.
Then the next person calls us and said, "Hey, we just went to this swim meet. We got to have this." All the parents loved it. And it's not just for people that aren't at the swim meet. It's for everybody, right? It's for your whole entire audience. And we're trying to capture all those eyeballs for you and help you improve your swim meet experience. You can build the overlay on your YouTube. So if your grandma's in, New York, she can still watch the YouTube and see her grandson's name on the screen. Or she could be on her phone and go to SWIMNERD.live and type in the swim meet, or they could have just sent her the link and then they click it, boom, they're in. And now the timer's running up and they see their kid's last name and the team name and what the splits are when they come in. So, yeah,
it's my kid.
It is.
Yay.
It's unbelievable. Like when you watch Google Analytics on a Saturday, it's just unbelievable. I can't believe how many people are utilizing it. I think right now the average for each swim meet is 20.1 times a user goes into the heat sheet on SWIMNERD.live every single swim meet. Because it's like open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close. Parents can go shopping and flip open the phone and know what event they are and what event their kid's about to be in coming up. So,
because swim meets are long. Boring.
If there's anything, if anything
about indoor track, holy moly.
COVID's been helpful, I think, in changing the culture of swim meets because they've had to shorten them. So everyone always talked about, we need short, fast meets. We just need to do a Saturday morning dual meet instead of a practice or whatever. And no one ever did anything. And now COVID forced people to do these little tiny meets. So people are sticking with them. That's what I'm hearing, right? Like that's all day, every day. I talk to swim coaches from the minute I get up to the minute I go to bed. And that it's got to change because the sport is going to get hurt if we continue to do things that are like 3-day, 12-hour meet sessions.
Tim, your kids didn't swim, or they did?
What's that?
I did.
Tim, did your kids swim?
No.
But you swim, so you remember it's terrible. Imagine being a swim coach.
Oh, dude!
Yeah, exactly.
Smelling the chlorine all.
It's bad for everybody. You got to get volunteers to run the swim meet. You got to get officials to run the swim meet. You got to have stroke and turn judges. You got to get, all the parents have got to be involved. I mean, it's just a big thing. It's definitely one thing that we're trying to focus on. We have a partner that makes some timing equipment that's just better than the timing equipment that's out there now. It's actually software based. You can just download it on a computer and you can set up a swim meet And you don't need touch pads, and the times all still count. I think I think more teams are smaller teams, the youth teams, the rec teams, the summer league teams, they can utilize things like that and have official swim meets, which right now it's all still like, hand timing, and it won't cost an arm and a leg, and it won't be that difficult to set up. And that'll help the bottom of the barrel, the base of swimming, and you can have meets all the time. You could set it up really quick. And it's 3, 4, 5, 6 times less expensive.
Man, it's fascinating. I mean, just how much has transpired in the last 2 years. Why do you think that there has been such a lack of innovation within swimming? And why it's like, man, you are revolutionizing a lot of different things.
Yeah, so there are a lot of different things that we can go down, and we're probably going to do another Kickstarter for another software product, because the current product is owned by a company that was backed with hundreds of millions of dollars, and they don't care about swimming because it's unprofitable. So they don't have anyone doing customer service, and people are basically have to buy this software. It's like, where do you even start? Right. It's like this.
That's like real deal frustration.
They can't even get the download link to download the software that is like the meet and team management tool for your swim team to seed a swim meet and to create a swim meet. And this is what all the coaches have been begging me to do, is like, hey, can you make a better meet manager? And I'm like, it's super complicated. It's gonna take a lot of work, and it's not exactly like it seems like it hasn't paid anybody's bills. These guys.
What's the company? High something? What is it?
It's called High Tech.
Yeah.
And they were like, they still are like the number one guy, but they got bought.
Oh, okay.
Right. So the original owners, there wasn't really any problems with service and things like that. And now it's just horrendous.
Dude, I remember when I coached, I hated putting together meets.
It's horrible. I mean, look, it's old, and it's.
Dude, Tim, they use a dot matrix printer. That's how ridiculous it was. This is 2007. It wasn't that long ago. I had to make sure the damn printer worked.
Yeah. Man. So to answer your question, Tim, I think basically there's been people that created the first technology companies inside of our sport in the 1970s, became the monopolies, and they stopped innovating at a point, and they just cared about the profits, or they sold out to a company like, these guys that, if you look at just pull them up on Better Business Bureau, and they have so many complaints on Better Business Bureau. Better Business Bureau literally says, by the way, we can only show you like a little bit of the complaints because there's too many complaints. There's like 696.
A lot of companies have got to have that issue too. So
I mean.